Carbohydrate foods are foods that raise your blood sugar. So if you do happen to be living with diabetes or prediabetes, this is a very important large group of foods that you need to know that can directly be impacting your health. Now, if you aren't living with diabetes or prediabetes, this large category of foods includes some really amazing, healthy, fantastic for you, high nutritious foods, and also some maybe not so high nutritious foods. If we're talking about feeling better or losing weight or lowering blood sugars or maximizing your metabolism, all of this can actually be done with having a better understanding of carbohydrate foods and foods that might be better for your insulin resistance, understanding your carbs and carbs that might lower your insulin resistance versus carbs that might make insulin resistance worse. And insulin resistance is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. Foods that are carbs, foods that raise blood sugars, are going to be your starchy foods, your fruits, your milk, and sweets and snacks. Then the foods that do not raise blood sugar or that are not carbohydrates are proteins like beef, chicken, turkey, seafood, cheese, eggs, tofu, nuts and nut butters, which are a combo of protein and fat, and then fats, which are olive oil, butter, cream, salad dressing, mayonnaise, cream cheese, sour cream. And you're going to notice that I totally skipped the green category, which is low carbohydrate vegetables. And these are tricky because they have a very small amount of carbohydrate. So some people might choose to count them, but for the majority of people, they're going to be freebies. They really have very little carbohydrate in them, and they are going to be considered unlimited for most people. The caveat with the vegetables, if there is one, is somebody who's trying to eat very low carb and doing a nutritional ketosis eating plan. You could potentially eat too many vegetables on a very low carb eating plan. But that said, those are really the only times I'm going to ever restrict or tell people they might need to watch their portions of vegetables. Typically, things like asparagus, green beans, spaghetti squash, yellow squash, zucchini squash, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, onion, garlic, cabbage, tomatoes, lettuce, greens, spinach, tons of vegetables, very low carbohydrate, and do not raise blood sugars, have tons of vitamins and minerals. The carbohydrate foods, which are the orange foods in the list here, are going to be things like the starches, pasta, rice, brown rice. If you've heard before, avoid all the white foods. That's a little bit misleading because onions are white. I want you to know that of all of these foods, which ones might raise your blood sugar, which ones might not. Of all these carbohydrate foods, where are we going to get the most bang for our buck? Where are we going to get all these vitamins and minerals? Things that start as a whole food, number one, is a good place to start. I want to go to that fruit category. Apples, oranges, bananas, grapes, pears. These are whole foods. These have tons of nutrition. Do they contain carbohydrate? Yes. Will they make blood sugar go up if you live with diabetes? Yes. However, are they still something you could include in your eating plan? Absolutely. And while they do have carbohydrate, because they are a whole food and they're minimally processed, they don't spike the blood sugar as quickly as, say, something like a donut might, because it's more processed, made with processed grains, flour, sugar.